And then you have Empower. Like for me, Empower and Way Beyond are the key foundation for enhanced longevity, okay? And I mean, I use between 3 and 7 pills of Empower 3 times a day. So I'm a bit of an extremist because I have a condition that I'm dealing with that I don't want to ever see again. But for most people, 2 or 3 of those twice a day are sufficient to alleviate this subclinical inflammation. And what most people feel, it's like, I hate selling insurance to people. You know, when someone says, you know, take this vitamin pill and it will help you live better, longer, and better quality health, but you don't really feel anything. It's like selling insurance and you hope it's doing something to you. But you feel something, because most people within 2 days are saying, yeah, well, you know, I feel limber. And some people, they take Empower, that's not doing anything for me. And then they stop, and like, holy cow, it was doing something, you know? And it happens a lot. A lot of people use calcium, magnesium, say calcium and magnesium and vitamin D for bone density. You're probably talking calcium, magnesium just for muscle relaxation, right? When you're talking, but let's say, how many people here use calcium because they want to maintain bone health? Yes. Calcium is now known as the biggest no-no for supplementation. Biggest no-no. It actually increases the risk for clotting. So here's what happens. When you're losing bone mass, it's not about the lack of calcium. We get tons of calcium, usually in our diet, but you imagine your bone mass, how much calcium it actually holds. What it's trying to do, the bone is trying to send out calcium to the periphery of the body, because calcium is what we call a second messenger in our cells. It actually translates the message from our hormone to our genetic material for transcription. It's one of the second messengers. There's a whole bunch of them, but calcium's a central one. So that's why your bone mass is giving it up to make sure that your cells have enough. The challenge is that people who lose bone matter and bone density have a problem with what's called the osteoclast. Okay, so here it is. Now, nobody needs to know the details. Here's the mechanism. On our bone structure, okay, on the surface of the bone, we have 2 sets of cells. You can look at this while I'm talking, I guess. We have osteoblasts and osteoclasts, okay? Osteoclasts dissolve calcium and minerals and push it out to periphery of the body. Osteoblasts bring it in and create bone mass, okay? Now, that subclinical inflammation activates bone osteoclasts and inhibits osteoblasts, okay? Should say it up there somewhere. So when you have a bone mass problem, it's also largely caused by this subclinical inflammation that's changing the activity of these 2 cell groups. Any amount of calcium you consume is only going to get pushed out to the periphery to be added to the systemic calcium that your body's already circulating and increasing clotting risk for, okay? So when you're taking Empower, you're changing the balance. You're increasing osteoblast activity, and it sucks up the calcium in the periphery of your body. And if you do take extra calcium, which you won't need, then you start building bone mass. So you can see how Empower is kind of like the corrector. Now, body fat, the body fat you put on with age, it's also neutralized by Empower so that you enhance the thermogenic system of the body that burns fat. How many people here have heard of the ephedrine, caffeine, aspirin, ECA stack, right? A lot of the guys who are not really worried about their health later are using ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin together because it really burns fat, but it increases the risk for cardiovascular disease and neurological trauma, okay? Now, why is aspirin part of that stack? The reason why aspirin's part of it is because it neutralizes the prostaglandin hormones that are inflammatory, that interfere with the thermogenic system. And I'm not going to do this to you guys and go back and forth again, okay, so I'll fix this. But this is it right here. It's neutralizing the thermogenic system so that the body is not negatively affected by that prostaglandin hormones, okay? So when you take Empower, you improve the body's ability to burn fat, you improve bone mass, you improve recovery day to day. It's kind of like that elixir. It is the countermeasure for the natural aging process, really what it is, okay?